All right, we are live. Session 3 of A Curse Reborn, the final session titled Reborn. The party currently finds themselves beaten, broken, exhausted. It is nighttime now. A fire flickers around them as they found purchase just beside one of these 50-foot tall, faceless statues. They decided to rest for the night before heading in to the horrors that potentially await them. Hours have passed now as you all just stand and stare, or sit and stare into the fire flickering. No one has really spoken. And Gregor, you find yourself just kind of not necessarily dozing off, but going to another place as you stare at this fire, and you find yourself in a long hallway illuminated by many torches. The light emphasizes the shadows of the nooks and crannies as you walk down this bright red carpet that is dirtied by many footsteps. It leads you to a grand wooden door. As you push open this door, a cathedral-like foyer stands before you. There's only a few priests that occupy this room, glancing about at you as you walk through. At the other end of this raised room is a dais, and there's a man laying on a makeshift bed. Van Richten lays there. His breathing is troubled. When you heard that tonight was the final night, you made as much haste as you could, but you know you're running a little late even still. There was a mass gathering of people outside that were denied entry. Van Richten refused to let anybody in on his final days, but nonetheless, they all came to pay respect to the legendary vampire hunter. You look around, and surprisingly enough, Colgrim, Gwent, they're not here. You approach as the moonlight shimmers down on Van Richten, as he's raised up on top of this little makeshift bed. It almost resembles more of an altar than anything. And as you look at him, he looks momentarily quiet and peaceful. You think to yourself that he must hate this. During his final days, you've heard that age has stolen much more than his vitality, and you wonder now if he'll even recognize you. Momentary guilt succumbs for you not being around during these last few bad years. If he just knew what you were thinking right now, that old shit would bug the fuck out of you. You know he would be chirping. You shake it off. You mumble to yourself, fuck sakes. And you approach. There he lies, the same man you've always known, although pale now in this moon. But there's a bit of grace to his wrinkled face. He takes another troubled breath. Is that you, you shithead?
Yeah, it's me. Here to watch you die.
Come to rub it in, I see. You think you're wise shit, aren't you, just because you outlasted me? Come to bug an old crazy fool passing away. Just like you.
It won't be that much longer before I join you.
I don't doubt that. Now that I'm gone, there'll be no one to keep you alive.
I did just fine by myself.
That's debatable. This isn't so bad, though, I guess. Me and you have faced off against a lot of fucked up shit, haven't we?
Yeah. It's been a rough ride, but it's almost over, at least for you.
He starts to cough again, and this time it goes on for a while, and you can tell that it's just really hurting him. He stops and he looks at you, but there's a difference in his eyes this time. He's coming for us, you know.
Who?
The darkness. The devil. The shadows. It comes. In our prime, there was no stopping us, but patience is its virtue. Eventually, the darkness always wins.
Maybe against each man, but there will always be light.
His eyes widen now, and he looks at you. You foul creature! You think you can disguise yourself as my friend? You can't fool me. My eyes may be failing me, but my experience does not. Be gone, you evil creature, for my life will be ended on my own terms. Be gone! Be gone at once! He starts to yell at you.
Fuck. Gregor would say to himself.
He's now fully yelling, "Be gone before I smite you back to the hells you came, for I am the legendary Rudolf van Richten." He stares at you with just this hatred in his eyes. A priest now approaches you. He whispers in your ears, "This isn't the first time that he's slipped into something like this. Doesn't know what is reality and what is not anymore. I think if you wish for him to have a peaceful death, perhaps you leave." You look now, and as you see him, blood is trickling from Van Richten's mouth. His eyes are bloodshot with pure hatred and rage as he stares at you. He has now pushed himself up and is sitting, and he is yelling over top of this conversation. It kind of just drones out. He does not have even a glimmer of recognition as he stares at you.
Yeah, so Gregor would just look him in the eyes and say, "Fuck you, you dirty cunt." And then turn and walk away and just start to leave the temple.
As you walk away, he starts to quiet and he begins to whisper. But the quietness of this room carries those words. And you hear him murmur this old poem. "A mountain's peak, so very far, a forgotten place that none should seek. Darkness dwells through good intent, and evil swells until it's bent. Walls have ears, doors have eyes, stones have voices, beasts tell lies. Beware the cold, beware the snow, beware the ones you think you know." And then he whispers to himself, "Wherever you are, old friend, be careful, for the darkness is always waiting, and the darkness is imperturbable." And then one final breath, and the room completely goes silent. Van Richten fades from this world. You snap out of it. The icy wind is what takes you from that moment, and you're sitting around the fire. It's your party. Sophia, you know that tomorrow morning you enter the Amber Temple. Close your eyes and try to get some rest. The morning comes for everybody. You're woken by the cold. The fire has went out. You all determined your watches for the night. The exhaustion relieved a bit for most of you, although Gwent, who suffered a particularly daring event more so than the others, is still only at one point of exhaustion, whereas everybody else, you're all fully rested, but Gwent has that one point for the rest of the session, probably. You wake up, the sun is in the air, the storms have subsided, the calm before the storm, one might consider it, and now you just look at that double staircase, or that long staircase, kind of descending down. As you pick yourselves up and start to walk towards it, you notice that something is a bit off, as it seems like the mountain itself has caved in on itself, and a massive kind of avalanche has swallowed the bottom of this staircase. And as it opens up into what should be a main door, it is just completely buried by rock and snow. You've walked down these staircases for about 40 feet into like what you thought was going to be the Amber Temple, but this way appears to be completely blocked off. Give me a insight or survival check, Kogrim.
What's higher? Survival. 23.
You remember that from your first entry into the Amber Temple so long ago that you did not come through this way. You accidentally kind of stumbled upon a crevasse along the sides of this mountain area. And although you never really came through the main doors itself, you kind of get your bearings and realize that if you head westward, following these alcoves of these statued 50-foot tall faceless men that you should be able to find, if it's still there, the old crack or the crevasse that you guys entered before.
Gotta go this way. And he just like chink his axe and kind of goes red hot.
Absolutely. Presuming everyone follows, you do find yourself basically westward for a while. You pass past all these alcoves and you start to carry around the mountainside. And there's this narrow fissure that opens up along the western side of the temple past it. And it creates this gap that is 2 feet wide and 10 feet tall. And it carries in the darkness. If you were to hold up your fiery sword, you would illuminate it to 15 feet deep. And you just kind of hear the howling of the wind kind of blowing into this fissure. Presuming you carry yourselves in, you find a small kind of rectangular shaped room, 15 feet long or 15 feet wide by 20 feet long. And there's frozen torches that lay in sconces along these black marble walls. There's bedrolls stitched of animal fur covered in frost and skeletal remains that are just frozen in these bedrolls. They're grasping for their weapons. Some seem to be just purely sleeping. Pilgrim, as you enter this room, the screams echo in your head as the sounds of steel sinking into the flesh of your brethren kind of come forth in your memory. You remember Malfurion losing it and just slaughtering people in their sleep. But the thing you remember most of all and the worst of all is his eyes as he did so. Just darkness. It's been a long time since you've entered this room, and you've done as much as you can to put out those memories from your mind, but they all overwhelm you as you enter and see the slaughtered remains of your clansmen.
Let's just get going. He doesn't look down.
Can I use this?
And Dieter sort of looks at the bodies and at Kogrim and then at the others, and just real quick, he just says one moment, and he pulls out the journal that he found outside of the entrance to the temple, and he tears out the page with the image of Gabby in front of this yellow-eyed woman that there's a passage on it that says, "She sees through my eyes," and he holds it out to Gwent and just doesn't say anything. He just holds it out to him and is just sort of searching his face for any kind of indication, any recognition or anything.
Gwent sort of takes the piece of paper, shakes his head, and says, disturbing indeed. It seems your daughter might have had some dealings with the same creature my sister did. It did not end well for her.
And Dieter frowns and just shakes his head, and he says, "Friend Gwent," and he looks at the rest of the group, "and all of you, I hate to admit this, but I think this is clearly a case of possession. I do not think this has anything to do with another creature." And he looks back at you, Gwent, and his eyes are kind of hard. "If we find my daughter, and she is indeed possessed by the spirit of your sister, I will do everything in my power to destroy that spirit and to free my daughter from this. I want you all to know and understand this before we go deeper into the temple."
Gwent looks at you right in the eyes and nods and says, "And I will do all in my power to aid you. If my sister's spirit is bound here, be it to your daughter or to something else, I will do everything in my power to see to it that she rests in the arms of Tyr, or whatever afterlife she chose to believe in. I will not have her stay here forever."
Dieter smiles at that and looks at the others and just asks, is this acceptable to the rest of you? Those of you who knew her.
That's fine.
Don't care.
All right,
Seems agitated.
let's go.
You carry forth Gwent kind of stepping forward, and as you do so, just walking around this black marbled room, you come up to a double door that is made of almost translucent amber. You find yourself walking towards it and running your hands across it. And as you do, you're brought again to the mountainside where Dusk Elves and Vistani travel together up a rugged but relatively well-kept snowy path. There's two small children, a boy and a girl, playing in the back of one of these wagons, and they're complaining to their mother that they're quite bored. You see the face of Rhiannon Markov. She smiles warmly next to her Vistani husband, who's busily working on another leather journal. Don't worry, my children. The journey is not much longer. Me and Ava have a very important task way up here on the mountainside. I wouldn't expect you to understand, but I promise you that it is extremely important and unavoidable annoyance for your youthful souls. But I ask for a bit more patience, and we shall be done with this in a day or so. A bit of whining comes from the two children, and Gwent, your childish self, speaks up and asks your mother straight up, is this dangerous? A very subtle glance comes from Mordant, but a reassuring smile of the mother, Rhea, denies any such danger and tells you that as long as you stay here with your father, there's nothing to fear whatsoever. She sets off with Ava and a couple other of the Dusk Elves into the snow. Hours pass, and the two children's their boredom and curiosity starts to consume them. You see your father working away at the leather journal, just kind of distracted and not really paying attention. And the baiting by Abby to go out and play and explore finally succumbs to you guys, and you run off into the snowy path, kind of playing a game of tag and hide and seek. We see this montage of you guys running through the snow, having a great time, but as it's going by, a large wolf suddenly corners you. Gwent, you're standing there with a stick protecting your sister. Another flash as you now are running from the savage snarls of this creature, suddenly falling, trembling through the snow. You hear the sound of a crack as you guys are plummeting. The cry of a child, the snapping of bones. You find yourself in an unfamiliar dark room with black marble walls. You come back out and you're staring at the door. The group is looking back at you. Sophia, are you going to open it?
He kind of shakes his head and takes a step back. It's an amber door, right?
Correct.
Please, Sophia, touch this door and tell me what you see.
Touch it, she says, and walks up to it and places her hand on it. Looks like a door.
Gwent grunts. To me it spoke. A vision from long ago. I cannot tell if it is memory or fabrication.
Well, you've been through a lot, Gwent. Hours passed before we found you buried under that snow. I thought for sure that they would not find you, but Colgrim, Gregor, and Dieter refused to give up. Maybe a bit of trauma still. You still look tired.
That I am. And he kind of rubs under his eyes. But we must press onward. There are matters to attend to. And he kind of looks at Dieter and gives him a nod and pushes through the door then at that point.
You open up into a 10-foot wide but long, dark hallway. A cold gust of wind takes you as you do so. It's at this point that you realize how truly cold it is down here, as you've must have climbed some distance through the fissure downwards and now have entered the Amber Temple. You pull your fur cloak closer, but can't shake the shiver. As you all step into this long, dark hallway, you see that there's shelves about waist high on each side of the hallway, and on them rest a human skull, and then a couple like dusty remains of what must have been some skulls at one point on a couple other ones. You pass through and see about 2 of these human skulls, and then the rest of the shelves have been smashed and broken. And as you start to walk the hallway itself, you get about 40 feet in before you see that there is another amber door about another 40 feet down at the end of this long, dark hallway. You look beneath you, and these thick black marble floors have cracks and like bulges running through them as if something very heavy has been dropped and almost like is cracking the floor itself.
Kogrim looks up.
You look up, and there is the ceiling itself about 20 feet high. Doesn't seem like anything out of the ordinary.
He lights a torch and puts it in his shield hand and like raises it up.
Yeah, and as you do so, you illuminate the room to its full potential, and you don't necessarily see anything going on just by looking at it. I will say that the torch provides a warmth that is much needed, and from this point forward, without a torch or some source of heat, you guys will be faced with Constitution saving throws to survive the deathly coldness of this temple. So for now, as long as you gather around Kogrim, you can pull a little bit of warmth from this torch. But as you hold it up and kind of look around, you don't see anything that would have fallen from the ceiling.
And these amber doorways, are they literal like doors made of amber?
Yes.
So they're kind of like see-through, but they have like hinges and they open and close like a normal door.
They're like kind of like that almost like double-sided windows that you would have like a bathroom or something, only you can't see, like it's just really, really blurry. If you were to go on one side and hold up a light, you would faintly see the light on the other side of the door, but you definitely can't see through them.
Okay.
And they're pretty thick. They're about at least a foot thick.
Oh, wow.
Really, yeah.
I hate this place. Let's move quickly.
Let's establish a marching order now.
Kogrim will go first.
All right. Kogrim.
Second.
Second for Gregor.
Yeah.
Sophia will stand behind him. Leaves Dieter and Gwent to decide who takes the rear.
Gwent will take the rear. After that first door, when he first touched it and he sort of got that weird vision and he's feeling a little exhausted, he'd be trailing behind the group.
All right. So yeah, this temple itself is incredibly dark and incredibly cold, like I said. So Gwent, you are far enough away where you will also need to light a torch or provide some heat for yourself, or else you'll be kind of cold, as you guys can't stand like really super close to each other. If you have a torch to light up, that will avoid the problem, but if not, you'll be forced to make some con saves in about an hour's time.
Yep, I have a torch. Yes.
Yeah, everyone would have been loaded up with appropriate climbing gear, so it's just you got to put that torch in your hand, so you do so to kind of light up the rear. And either way, it's like pitch black down here without the light, so kind of helps to have that illuminate a bit. You carry forth, and Kogrim, you're taking the lead. You come up to this amber door. It's pretty much identical to the one you just pushed through. You stand beside it and kind of look at it to see if you can see through. Nothing but darkness really meets you on the other side. So you push through, and what you see is that it opens up into like a kind of almost square annex-like room. In the center of this room, there's really no particularly defining features. It's just basically an empty, cold room, except for in the center is this 10-foot tall statue of a jackal-headed warrior. It's made of this cracked amber. You hold your torch up to study it, and sharply, its head turns towards you. It clenches its fist and begins to move forward. Roll initiative, everybody. All right. Let me do this.
Got a mighty 4.
All right. Mighty 4 from the Gwent in the back. That makes sense. Let's go Dieter next.
6.
6. Kogrim next.
20.
20. Very nice. And Gregor last.
14.
14. All right. Let's do that. And Kogrim, you're the first to act as you're basically in the front, and this statue is a bit slow moving at first. It starts to head towards you, and it has this massive, let me see what it's actually holding, massive mace in its hand, also made of amber.
All right, he looks around. Is this thing the only one in the room, or are there other statues moving?
Give me a perception check.
He rolls a crit.
He rolls a natural 20?
Yep.
That's
Plus,
helpful. In the room itself, there is no other statues, but for some reason, your eyes, just the corner of your eyes, you catch some light. You look behind you, and there are the 2 skulls on the shelves that now have an animated green flame around them. And those skulls are starting to levitate behind you. You yell out to your party that there's something behind you, now forced to deal with the amber golem in front of you.
Behind you! Close the door! And he'll go into a rage and attack the amber golem in front of him.
All right, go ahead.
All right. First one. First one's a 20, not natural.
Hit. 17's your mark.
And then second one is an 18.
Nice. Double hit.
All right. Uh, 8 or no, 10 damage. Nope. I have Crimson right now, so it's more than that. Hold on. 4 plus 1 is 5. 17 in the first one.
All right. Now, this damage that you're doing, it comes from a non-magical weapon?
It's a silver sword with Crimson right on it, so it counts as magic.
Counts
It's
as magic?
radiant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's useful.
So and then the second
damage,
one,
yeah,
what,
you said
17? 17.
all right.
And then the second one is 7 plus 4, 11.
Okay.
23.
23.
All up.
All right. Very nice. Okay. So you rush forward and start to chop at this creature. The amber that it is made of is incredibly hard, but with the kind of crimson glowing of your sword, you're able to cut through and cut away a chunk of its leg. Doesn't really seem to be that bothered by it. Gregor, you're up next as Kogrim has yelled out, shut the door, and charged in and started to battle with this statue that you now see is animated.
Are these floating skulls on the other side of the door?
They're behind you guys, and yeah, they're in the hallway. Kogrim has rushed into the room. So yeah, there is technically a door that would separate you two if you were to close it. But your party is also behind you.
Wait, are they on the other side of the door too, the party?
Yes, so Kogrim was the first up, pushed open the door and seen this statue come to life. He charges in and tells you to get in.
All right, in that case, Gregor's going to run forward to this amber golem and place his hand on its leg that it can reach and whisper a fuck you into the wind as he casts Bestow Curse.
Okay.
So it makes a wisdom save. The DC, what's my DC? 16. DC 16.
It makes it.
Rip. Wait a minute. Oh no, I can't do that. All right. Oh, and then I yell at Kogrim, "Hey, don't fuck up anytime soon," and give him a bardic inspiration die.
Nice. And as you enchant this bestow curse spell, you would see that there's almost like this kind of reflective like energy that seems to be resisting the spell, not immune to it, but you just get this feeling that it has some kind of ward placed on it that makes it a little more adept at dealing with magic. Nonetheless, you give some advice, some words of inspiration to Kogrim, and the golem is the one to step up next. And as it does so, it moves forth, kind of stepping back Kogrim. It winds up with its giant mace-like weapon and slams down not once, but twice. The first time to hit is a 21, and the second to hit is a 15.
So,
Go ahead.
Can I
I'm gonna
use
use my-
words with my inspiration that was given to me, or?
no, you can't. But I can use my reaction to impose disadvantage on the first attack.
All right, let's disadvantage that first attack then. So 21 was his high roll. Second roll is a 28. So 21 is the lowest to hit.
Yeah.
Slamming into you, you dodge the first strike or the second strike, but the first strike hits and slams you across the room, kind of sliding against the ground for 18 damage.
All right. So half from rage.
Yep. Next up are the skulls that are flaming, and they are going to eye up you, Gwent, and ray of fire shoots from their mouth, trying to engulf you in flames for a 17 to hit. The first miss, I'm assuming, by that excited face.
That's a miss.
And the second ray of fire blasts out, and this also a 17 misses. The other one comes up and is going to go for you, Dieter. And when I say that, I actually lie, because instead it is going to summon a much bigger plume of fire in its mouth, and I'm going to need Gwent, Dieter, and Sophia, which I'll handle, to make a dex save as this second flame skull casts fireball.
19 for Dieter.
Plus
All right.
3 if you're within 10 feet of me.
22 for Dieter.
All right, Sophia is definitely not making it.
14 for Gwen.
All right, so their DC is, let me go up here and check, 13. So anyone rolling higher than a 13 has made it, which means you take half of this damage. Where do we go?
At least they didn't both fireball you.
Yep.
That's plus.
Half of 20, so 10 damage for those who made it. Sophia, on the other hand, kind of caught off guard, takes the full damage. Give me a perception check. Dieter and or Gwent. Both.
All right, I have disadvantage because I'm exhausted.
Modified 20 for Dieter.
You notice that Sophia, and only you notice this, or what did you roll?
I actually rolled 2 18s on my disadvantage, and I have plus 5.
You both realize that the fire kind of almost ricochets off her a bit as she resists the fire attack. She clearly was caught off guard, but you just see that for some reason it doesn't have the full effect over her. Dieter is actually next to act. You're muted.
Right, who's next? I'm sorry.
You are.
Oh, great. So Dieter kind of notices this out of his periphery, but sort of shakes it off. And he is going to, first of all, clutch his holy symbol and cast Shield of Faith on himself. So that'll bump up his AC.
Yep.
And then he is going to, still holding on to his wooden holy symbol of Lathander, he turns around to face the flame skulls. So he's going to throw a guiding bolt, this bolt of sort of orange gold energy at the closest one.
Got it.
So let me go ahead and roll that. That's a natural frickin' 20, because why not?
Nice.
All right. So I'm sorry, I can't believe I'm forgetting this. How are we doing crits again? Is just roll the dice twice or just
Yeah, you can just double dice.
yeah.
Or if you don't like that, just roll the
Okay.
dice times 2. I'm impartial.
That is 28 points of radiant damage as this guiding bolt smashes into the flame skull.
Nice. It bloodies it pretty much instantly, almost like slamming it into the ground, and the skull itself starts to crack and crumble, but still it somehow animates in the air as this just brilliant radiant energy shoots out and just engulfs it. Anything else?
Yeah, Dieter's going to move 30 feet into the room with Kogrim and Gregor and just call out as he passes Gwent and Sophia. Howdy, my friends. Perhaps we can close the doors and that way we won't have to fight these skulls while we're fighting that thing. And he sort of sees the statue and his face goes a little pale.
Yep. Gwent, you're now next to act.
So Sophia's still in the room?
Yeah, she's with you. She's like gonna be right behind you. In terms of turn.
As long as there is breath in me, no evil will survive in this place. All shall be purged, for this is my oath. And he throws the torch up into the air. While it's falling, he spins around into a stance, drawing his sword with 2 hands, and he's going to spin and slash sideways at these guys.
Go for it.
So the first one, guiding bolt, does that give me advantage?
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, I will. I'll take the -5 to hit.
All right, 13's your mark.
All right. And wow, I shouldn't have done that. That's an 11, even with advantage.
Yikes.
So my second attack, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing, but I don't have advantage. But that's a natural 20.
Beautiful.
I'm
going to assume this is on the injured one that
yeah, I attacked the same one twice.
Okay.
So for that, yeah, I'm not going to dump anything into this. 8. It says 32 damage.
Oof. Describe what it looks like as you finish that skull off.
Yeah, the first attack kind of misses despite the glow, and his momentum sends him swirling. But then he kind of ducks under it and pops up behind it and goes upward arc, kind of. And right as it's about to impact, he twists his blade sideways. So he's actually not slicing through it, but like baseball batting it upwards, and it just flies into the ceiling and explodes in the ceiling. A shattering of dust and flame and like embers descends across the room.
Very cool. Anything else for your turn as Dieter has run down the hallway and told you to follow?
I cast Hunter's Mark on the other skull, and I square off with it.
All right. Sophia looks at you. If you're not running, I stand with you. Pulls out her weapon, and she'll charge in, drawing forth her giant greatsword, and she's going to give a couple swings. I should have did this while you were doing your turn, but swinging recklessly, she hits with both of her attacks. All right. While I'm dealing out that damage, because I don't think she'll be able to kill it, Kogrim, you can now act as Dieter and Gregor have run in. You see that Sophia and Gwent, on the other hand, have decided to stay and do battle with these flaming skulls, leaving you 3 in the room with this towering creature. What do you do?
Why does no one ever follow directions? And he's gonna attack it twice.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Modified 20.
Definitely a hit.
And then a 19.
Definitely a hit.
Alrighty. 6, 2, 14. 20 on the first one.
Okay.
And then 4, 5, 17 on the second one.
Very nice.
And if radiant or anything like that does more damage, just let me know and I could break it out.
Yep. Nope. That's fine.
All right.
So you cut into it, and and as you're just hitting and swinging with everything that you've got, obviously like you're just slamming into pure amber, so like you're cutting away small chunks of it, but obviously it doesn't seem to be, this thing seems very formidable, I guess is the best word to do so. And as you're cutting it, you kind of run past the area where it slammed the mace into the ground, and you feel the loose marble underneath your foot as just the impact of this creature has almost like crumbled the ground a bit. Next up is Gregor.
All right. Does it seem like this, like there's something providing him this energy, or is this magic that I would need to like dispel?
You can give me an Arcana check.
All right. 18.
18. So what that would tell you is that this is definitely a construct-like creature. But as you notice that it resisted your spells in some way, you feel like this is a more powerful entity than something that can simply be dispelled. And 18 gives you the feeling that probably there is some kind of word that would be used to alter this and turn it off, but you have little way besides just being the person to know the word to figure that out. You can just start yelling out random shit, but other than that, you would kind of know that these things are constructed as guards and aren't easily necessarily dealt with or just simply turned off.
Got it. In that case, I'm going to use my action to cast Bane.
All right. Wisdom save or charisma?
On it. Let me double check. I think it's charisma.
Me too.
Yep, charisma.
All right. Again, you see that reflective kind of magic energy as it's resisting. And the lowest roll it made was actually a... What happened there? It's not very charismatic, so it actually rolled a 10, so it fails.
Heyo. So minus a d4 to his gargantuan attack rolls.
Give me a reminder of that on its actual turn, but I'll do my best also. Anything else?
And then I'm going to use another inspiration to throw it to... Actually, I'll use my Battlemaster die to rally Kogrim and give him an extra 9 hit points.
Nice.
As I tell him, come on, you've got this.
All right. Next up is the golem, and as it marches forth, it slams its mace into the ground. At first, like trying to strike, you would think, but it does so almost lazily. And then as the mace hits the ground, you realize that it starts to pulsate. And I'm going to need Gregor, Kogrim, and Dieter, who are now in the room, to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, shit. Gwent isn't here to babysit me, right? So
Negative.
Okay.
You have the bardic inspiration if you have.
Yeah, I might use that.
I got a 5.
Beautiful. That is definitely a good number to roll.
I'm going to use
bardic. What's the inspiration? Is it D8 or D10?
It's a D8.
All right.
I'm using a DM inspiration. I got a 25.
Nice.
Got a 19.
19.
Yeah,
so the only one affected by it is Gregor, who's yelling out to not give up. But as the energy just pulsates around the room, everyone else is resistant for you. Gregor, your speed is halved. You can't use any reactions, and you are effectively slowed as this creature has casted slow. So you can only make one attack on your turn. In addition, you can either take a bonus action or an action, not both. As the Amber Golem defensively casts slow. Next up is the Flame Skull. It is going to... what do we got here? That is not the Flame Skull. That is the Golem. It is going to shoot out a magic missile at you, Gwent. And it's going to do so at a bit of a higher level. So, unless you have a shield spell to save you, you're going to take...
Bring it on.
All right. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 damage as shooting from its mouth are these green, like almost spike-like spears of energy, hitting you for 13 damage. That will end its turn.
16.
All right, now let's count. 6, 10, 12, 16, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Ending the Flame Skull's turn, though, as these spears of arcane energy shoot out from its mouth, slamming into you. Dieter is next to act. You look back, and your two comrades are not following behind. They're engaged with the Flame Skull. But worse, the Amber Golem just casted slow and basically almost for a moment slowed everything, but you resisted it.
Okay, so Dieter is going to sort of steel himself, and he is going to run up. Am I close enough to Kogrum to get within touch range of him?
Yes.
Okay. So he is going to, with his left hand clutching his holy symbol, he's going to place his right hand on Kogrum's back, and he is going to whisper a prayer to the Morning Lord under his breath and cast Cure Wounds. Excuse me. Let me go ahead and roll that.
So I'm actually at. Well, no, never mind. I'll take that.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
All right. So you gain 9 points of health back as you see this orange gold light flowing into your body and closing some of your wounds. And then, as a bonus action, Dieter is going to call forth his flaming sword spiritual weapon near the Amber Golem, and it is going to take a swing at the Amber Golem.
Go ahead. 17's your mark.
All right. Let's see if I can do this. Do I want to use luck? Yeah, why not? I'm going to use 1 point of luck. If I can roll that. That's much better. That's a 26.
Nice. That'll do it.
All right. And that is 1d8 plus 3. And that is 8 points of radiant damage as this flaming sword kind of carves into the Amber Golem, maybe just scraping it a little bit.
Absolutely. That ends Dieter's turn. Gwent, this flame skull stands before you and Sophia. You just kind of shake off that arcane energy as the crystals kind of break off from your arm where they stabbed into.
Yep, I'm going at it. I rolled a miss and a hit. Both those were Grape Weapon Master.
Okay.
And I'll add a d6 for Hunter's Mark. That's pretty good. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 31 damage.
Nice. You also finish off that with another powerful strike, just cutting right through it. It explodes in kind of a almost gas-like flame that shoots across the room momentarily, but then disperses and just ashes and the smell of burnt sulfur fill the room. The skull is now defeated. You look back and your friends are occupied by this giant amber jackal-headed creature.
He kind of sighs in exhaustion. Kind of looks over at the creature, uses his bonus action to transfer his Hunter's Mark over to that creature.
Yeah.
And without, kind of just steals himself and rushes into the room.
You're able to make it in there.
Visibly exhausted, but he, comes right up toe-to-toe with this thing.
Absolutely. It stands 10 feet tall, but you stand there unwavered nonetheless. Sophia charges in behind you. She too lets out a battle cry and starts to swing at the creature. Missing. Damn. But now that she has her thing, actually, she's not going to use that. Sorry. 2 misses as she just swings into it, but just the clank of the amber solidness against it does no damage. Goes back up to Greg or Kogrim, sorry, at the top. Now all your comrades are in. They're surrounding this creature. You look back and Gregor's moving in slow-mo, but you now have all your allies with you to fight this creature. You've chunked into it pretty decently. It is roughly bloodied. What do you do next?
All right, let's take care of this thing with me. And he'll try to chop at its legs twice. Try to get it to falter. With a 27
That's a
and
hit.
a 27.
Nice.
3, plus 36. 18 for the first one.
Yep.
And then 23 for the second one.
Very cool. You slam into it, and as you do so, who's with me? Just right into its leg, and you just cut right through the leg itself. It kind of crumbles away chunks of amber and falls lopsided. It grabs with its off hand, picks itself up. It's now kind of standing lop-legged, still strong though, and ready to go. Just kind of impeded a bit by that devastating strike. Anything else on your turn?
No.
Gregor.
I am, as I use my bonus action to give Kogrum a bardic inspiration die.
All right, what is
And
it?
I
What do
make
you say?
that's it. I am very slowly,
Okay.
and then my wisdom save is an 11.
All right, perfect. That's not going to do it. But nonetheless, a boast of confidence from slowed Gregor. The Amber Golem is up next, and it's going to slam its mighty mace into the ground once more. Although lopsided and affected by Bane, let's see what happens. Scroll down. So, oops, I'm rolling on the wrong person. That makes sense. Let's try that. 22 plus the Bane minus is 19 for the first hit. Someone can pose a disadvantage, or no, you can't even use a reaction. So sorry, unless anybody but Gregor has something to do. 19 on you, Kogrim.
Oh, and me?
Yeah,
That misses.
That misses. Nice.
Mhm.
All right, second attack. 22 again. Bane hits for a -1, so 21 this time.
I'm gonna use Blood Maledict on that.
Okay, and that does.
That imposes disadvantage, and since it's on me, I don't need to take damage to use it.
Cool. All right, so I just roll again.
Use 1 of 2.
All right. Second roll is a 21, and I'm assuming I have to roll Bane again, so I will. Yep. And 1 again on it, so 20 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Just did it. That sucks, though. All right, but so luckily you dodged the first attack, rolling out of the way. It hits again for a whopping 17 damage. As it slams into the ground, not once but twice, though, kind of pinning you underneath it. The ground itself starts to tremble. Stone starts to slip away, and the floor beneath you starts to sink in. The entire room, with you now all in it, start to sink. Give me a dexterity saving throw, everybody.
+3.
Okay.
19.
22 for Dieter.
I have advantage, right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I needed that. 19 plus 2 plus 3. 24.
5? 5 is good, right?
Yeah, 5 is exactly what you needed.
Yeah, let's go.
Everyone who is not Gregor manages to land on their feet after falling about 20 feet down with relative grace. The old slowed man, though, on the other hand, takes 11 bludgeoning damage from the fall. The Amber Golem is not the most dexterous of creatures. It too failed. And as it does so, the other leg gives way underneath it and kind of crumbles. And now it's just a torso, which is struggling to even pick itself up. It lays prone as Dieter and Gwent now kind of fall beside it. Dieter, the first to act.
All right, so after landing and recovering himself, Dieter is going to, first of all, sort of, with his hand, direct the sword to attack the golem torso.
Yes.
Jesus, I just can't roll. All right, that's a 9, so the sword definitely misses.
Indeed.
And then, Gregor, how beat up do you look, roughly?
Gregor's muted.
Gregor? You are muted, sir. Gregor.
Might be. For some reason, I thought you were saying Kogrim. I'm fine. I just only took that 11 damage.
Okay, cool. So seeing that, Dieter is then going to try a guiding bolt, because why not?
Guiding bolt.
You can do his symbol, pulls out this golden orange fire, just throws it at the golem.
It's an advantage because it is prone. Did you do that for your magical attack too?
I didn't.
Okay, do that also.
Okay, so pretty sure I missed both times with the guiding bolt. Let me re-roll for the sword.
Killing it tonight, man.
I know, right? That one natural 20. That is an 18 to hit with the sword.
That's a hit.
All right, finally. And let me just do this. It's 1d8. Nice. And that is... There it is. That is 11 points of force damage as the sword cleaves a chunk off the golem.
It actually cleaves off one of its arms now. So the golem lies with one arm prone on the ground. Gwent, you hit the ground, you hear some cracking, and you hear Gregor yelling out in pain. And you see this almost pretty much disabled golem, but still obviously trying to fight. It looks pretty much useless. What do you do as it seems to be on the brink of, I guess, consciousness for a construct?
He just mutters, "Who brought the grandfather along?" But just loud enough for Gregor to hear him, and he's gonna attack this thing.
Advantage.
Advantage. Yeah. Screw Great Weapon Master. I just want to kill it.
All right.
All right. That's a 19 on the first one.
Yep.
And that's a 23 on the second one.
Double you up.
Oh, and it's Hunter's marked.
Perfect.
That's going to be 6d6 plus 12.
Seems good.
18 plus 12.
You are able to finish it off. You step forth and you hack the last remaining arm that's holding the mace off. It crumbles to the ground. The golem there just basically sitting limbless, its head just kind of moving, trying to do anything. You take your weapon and just jam it through the skull of this jackal-headed creature, and its head just crumbles into amber dust. The room falls quiet. You look around and find yourself in a very dark room. Kogrim, do you have your torch still?
I'm not sure. I never put it down.
Yeah, I think you do.
And stuff. So
yeah, I think you do. So you hold your torch up and see that the amber-covered walls are sculpted with tentacles that entwine around a bas-relief of kings, queens, and pharaohs that are fighting a myriad of demons and evil creatures alike. This room is large and square in shape, and it has 4 corners in which alcoves are chopped into the walls themselves, and there's massive chunks of amber that sit in there, all except one. Towards the south of this room is a massive amber door that just doubles in the size of the ones that you have moved before. But as you are looking around, Gwent, you're drawn to that empty alcove. Again, you're swept away. A chunk of glimmering amber with yellow-like tendrils, or a yellow tendril-like ichor swimming around in it. A little version of you and a little version of your sister are standing there. You're leaning on your sister, for you snapped your ankle through the fall, running away from these wolves. You say to your sister, worried that you should not be here, but a whisper fills both of your heads. It whispers to you, "Welcome, my children. Shall I tell you a secret?" Abigail speaks quickly, almost enthralled by this swimming yellow light. She says yes, without hesitation. Instead of telling you, this presence shows you visions of fire, visions of darkness, screams of pain and murder. It shows you your people, the Dusk Elves, the Vistani, being slaughtered, crying out helplessly as they are being slain one by one without hesitation. You cry out for this entity to stop showing you this. It whispers back calmly, Some secrets must be told. A vision of Rhea, your mother, begging for her life, brutally beaten and cut. She lays on her knees, crying for it to stop. Abigail yells out at this entity to stop. She starts to cry. The entity tells you that I cannot stop this myself. But you, my children, you can. The secrets I share are warnings of times to come. A great evil grows, and it waits to destroy all you love. I can help stop it. You need only promise me. Promise what? Abigail says firmly. To never share these secrets. To let me, the keeper of secrets, help when the time is right. Never speak of this day again, and I will come. I will give you the power to stop those who wish to wrong the ones you love. Simply promise me. Abigail places her hand on the amber stone and whispers, I promise, Master. Just standing there, Gwent, breathing heavily, the amber remnants of this golem behind you. You're staring at an empty alcove where clearly something big has been moved, but it is no longer there. Deja vu fills you.
And as he sort of these memories come flooding back into him, he remembers standing there as a child and saying, "No, I promise nothing to the likes of you." Just planting heavily. And as he speaks those words, he remembers this entire sequence of memory fading from him, evaporating from his conscious mind. And he realizes that ever since that day, Abigail had been keeping a secret that was erased from his own mind when he refused to promise to keep it and to never speak of this day. But now, for some reason, these memories are flooding back to him, being in this place perhaps. And he reaches down and picks up some of the dust that has fallen from this amber golem. And he reaches into his pocket and pulls out the vial that he holds and that contains the ashes that were left behind after Abigail was disintegrated. And he kind of like lets it fall into the air and looks at the dust in the other one. Do they look the same?
The dust of the amber is what you're grabbing and comparing it to the ashes of your sister. Correct? Am I on mute?
There you go.
Okay. The ashes of the amber compared to your sister's ashes, correct? That's what you're comparing? The ashes of your sister are this pale yellow. The amber is more of a red kind of soft sand. They don't seem to be quite similar.
He kind of shakes his head and just goes, "What are you trying to tell me?" And with that, he's striding over to that place with. You said that he's attracted to the one that doesn't have.
You were just kind of standing there remembering, and you're kind of in front of it. You go in, you walk in and inspect, and basically what you can tell is that there was something here probably before, but it seems like it's been moved now. Your memory serves you that this kind of moment that fades away, but it's like a dream almost. You do remember standing in front of a big block of amber. As you look around the room, in the other 3 alcoves, there are huge chunks of amber. Each almost identical in size and shape. Only this alcove, it seems to be missing.
My companions, I feel that we should find this missing element and replace it. I do not know why, but this absence bothers me.
As he says that, Kogrim looks down and tries to see if he can see any like scuff marks or anything leading away from what he's referring to.
Investigation.
All right, I'm not good at that. But... just a minute. 15.
So you see maybe like the kind of cracks and crumble of the marble underneath as if it was once supporting something heavily. And you look at the other 3 big chunks of amber and would suspect that those weigh a shit ton. But as you look, it doesn't seem like there's any like marks or anything besides the initial cracks where it once probably rested on. So you have no clue how it would have been moved or whatever. But something was moved and it was big and enough to like weight against the ground and crack it.
Well, I wasn't dragged away.
Just to be clear, I have a question. So when the golem hit the ground with his mace, that broke the entire floor to the room that we were in and sent us down 20 feet, like a level?
Yes.
And was there anything else in that room up there, like doorway or...
In the heat of the moment, you probably didn't notice. You can spend some time trying to climb back up if you want.
And there's a doorway in the southern aspect of this room.
Yeah, so basically against the southern wall, obviously all four corners have these alcoves, and you're at the like southwest one that's empty. So then just slightly to your right or eastward is this main kind of massive amber door. Other than that, and the sculptures on the walls of like these kings and pharaohs fighting off demons, there's really nothing else going on in this room. You wouldn't even necessarily, besides that door, know of any other way. Like the way that you came was definitely not the way into this room.
Mm-hmm.
Does the door on the southern wall, the big one, does it look like it would take multiple people to push this open, or is it like a one-man job?
Just by looking at it, you'd presume it's heavy if you go over and shove it. Do you?
Yeah, Dieter is not wasting.
It's strenuous, but you suspect like trying basically as hard as you can. One person could probably move it. 2 people could almost easily move it.
So Dieter will glance over his shoulder at everyone else and then say, "Come, I do not know how much time my daughter has. Please, we need to move forward." And he's just going to push as hard as he can.
You push. Does anybody do anything before?
I'll come help.
You give him a hand. Push open into this giant amber door. And what you see is a massive foyer. Black marble columns support a vaulted ceiling. The room itself, roughly 120 feet long and 60 feet wide. On the opposite side, anonymous, that's not the right word either. Ominous. There we go. I nailed it. Ominous statue stands between 2 broken staircases, which snow has caved in and blocked the second level of what must have been a balcony, which wrapped around this statue at one point. The walls of this temple are sheathed in amber. And this massive statue, faceless, hooded like the ones outside, has its hands out, and it's holding a massive chunk of glowing, dripping yellow liquid. It splashes and then freezes on the floor, encasing something like a bulge on the floor itself from this liquid splashing down, and it just kind of made this icy bulge on the floor. 4 figures, dark, are seen bowing down in front of the statue. The only reason you can even see this room illuminated is from the glowing amber chunk. Kind of step in quietly. The figures don't move as you do so. You hear a sudden poof, Gwent, from behind you. You turn around and look, and like a cloud of mist is just there. But strangely enough, You could have swore that Sophia was behind you. Now she's not. Family reunions. Don't they just make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside? Daughters, fathers, brothers and sisters, all meeting here once again. Even an endangered clanman gets to meet his last female surviving clanswoman. Now standing roughly in front of the statue, a few feet ahead of you guys, roughly like 30, 40 feet, is Sophia. She stands in front of one of these bowing figures, and it now stands up and turns around and faces you. And what you see is a blackened, swaying girl. She has cuts and scars all over her body, and she doesn't even seem to know who she is or what she is. She's emotionless, and she's standing there with her head down, kind of like the Grudge, and this black, greasy hair is covering her face. She looks up, and Cobram, what you see is darkness. What you see is a void. What you see is a memory of the exact eyes that Malfurion had when he slaughtered your brethren. You see these dark voids, and as you look at this poor woman, it's like shadowy tentacles start to climb out of the eyes themselves. Sophia looks at you. You know, and her voice begins to change. It was not easy digging into her mind and extracting all of those beloved memories of her father, Malfurion, of the Vistani who raised her. She came here and she fought me hard. Too bad she did not bump into you. Maybe she could have made you a promise, or maybe she could have made you make a promise to keep her safe. She smiles. Dan, you rolled me a number 13 last session.
Yeah, dude.
What's your wisdom modifier?
What's my wisdom? 8.
Lucky. You flash back to that night where who you thought was this Sophia girl unclothed herself and tries to push herself upon you and giving you a kiss. You notice that she casted this incantation. You blocked it off. She swore that it was a Vistani hex, a love curse. But you now realize that it was something far worse. You think back to this moment, and she somehow kind of blocked it out until this point. But as you were going through that kiss in that moment that you shared, she was doing some kind of incantation to try and basically empower herself over your mind. You're very lucky you have a +8 to your wisdom. She says to you again, this imposter, explaining to you that the girl that stands in front of her is actually the true Sophia. She tells you of all the terrible things that she did to get all the memories out of her. She says that it was her foolish pride that brought her here alone. For my master has told me all. He has told me you would come. He has given me everything I need, all of his secrets to prepare for this exact moment. And I have the last piece of the puzzle. He holds up a vial of yellow dust. You look at it, Gwent, a necklace. Looks very familiar. He holds it in front of you. Yes, it is the necklace you once had. I'm presuming a 28 on the sleight of hand bested you. So he holds this creature, this imposter holds it up, crushes the vial. The sand sifts through its hand and is almost pulled towards the encasing on the ground. The mist itself falls over it. Another splash of this yellow ichor hits the ground. And he tells you, this woman, Sophia, starting to transform. You see fur instead of skin. You see black robes. This fox-like creature that is standing on 2 legs, a bipedal creature with these yellow-trimmed black robes. And he tells you, my name is Nephron. I am a tremendously powerful Arcanoloth, and my master seeks to give me power that will make Strahd Zonzorovich look like a fool. I shall rule Barovia like he has never done. I simply only complete this last task, and the King in Yellow will give me the power I need. And with that, as the dust finishes sifting from his hand, a cacophony of sound explodes through the room as the glowing, icy encasement shows what looks like momentarily this small black figure in it. And it begins to melt. The dark figures all stand at once, remnants of the tortured Kelroth clan. Screams of horror, screams of rage exhume from their not mouths. Their mouths are sewn shut. But their eyes, these screams of horror come from their eyes as these black voidless sockets spew out tentacles of shadowy ichor. And he screams to you in a kind of cackled laughter. I promise, Master. I will kill them just as you told me I would. Roll initiative.
Damn it.
Fantastic. 17 for Gregor.
All right, Gregor, 17.
12 for Gwent.
12 for Gent.
8 for Dieter, and I burned another point of luck. God damn it.
8 for Dieter. Kogrim?
13 for Cobra.
All right. Give me a second here to get all my friendlies in the initiative. Let's do this. All right. There's that. There's that. And we'll do... Okay. 2 more seconds here. 13. Okay. All right. It is actually Sophia, or the now named Nephron, who is first to act. He smiles, this fox-like creature. You see that the kind of maw of his mouth has this toothy, fanged grin. And without any kind of focus or even, it seems like maybe even incantation, he suddenly vanishes. Completely gone. But you hear his voice call out, "Your sister was right, Gwent. You should have stayed away." And he will, for what you guys can tell, not necessarily do anything. Gregor, you're next to act.
So, in what we've seen in this room, you said there were 4 other like shadowy figure things.
Yeah, they are like the remnants of Kelroth barbarian tribes, only possessed by a very dark, insidious evil.
Got it. So Gregor is gonna go over to Kogrim and kind of reach into his bag and say, "I've been holding on to this shit, but
Oh fuck!
seems like it's a good time." As he pulls it out and hands this horn to Kogrim and says, "Call your fucking friends."
Nice. I like that.
Nuts. So, do I do that?
Well, it takes an action, so on your turn you'll be able to.
Cool.
All right.
And then I'm gonna use. Yeah, I'm gonna just use my bardic inspiration to give it to Kogrim here,
Sweet.
and I'll take my action to dodge.
Sweet. All right. It is actually the barbarians that are up next to act. All 4 of them are going to, with these screaming eyeball sockets of horror and rage, run forth towards you at a speed that you were not expecting. Before you know it, they are upon you. I'm going to assume that the marching order was mostly the same, with Dieter actually now in the front because he pushed open the door with Gregor. So actually we'll say that those 2 are in the front. And Dieter, you are surrounded, as to is Gregor, as you're both going to take 2 waves of attacks from each of these barbarians. So let me.
Perfect. I give one of them as my reaction disadvantage against Dieter.
Okay, against
as I
Dieter?
smack his weapon away with my shield. Hopefully.
Perfect. All right. Let me.
Quick question: has it been 10 minutes or so from the golem fight, or how long has it been roughly?
Yeah, I'll say 10 minutes past, definitely, if that suits you. Or is that
Well,
not?
I mean, that would not suit me at all.
I'm trying to hang on to my bardic inspiration.
I'm trying to hang on to the shield of faith. Is what I'm trying to hang on to.
Oh, that's it.
Only because you acted so quickly, I'll say that you are just within the 10 minutes, but it will be pretty much expired by the end of this round. Fair?
Got it.
All right.
I think Shield of Faith is an hour.
Is it?
I thought. Pretty sure.
I'll double check. It's 10 minutes. Duration is 10
All right.
minutes.
Hunter's
So-
Mark is an hour though.
Correct. All right. These creatures are going to attack, but as they do so, it's not with weapons like the Kelroth tribe has been fought to do. They just run at you, flailing their arms around, just frantically panicked. They don't even really necessarily, it's like they're trapped or fearing for their lives. They're just scratching and wiping at anything, but it's not that streaks forth. A tentacle shoots out from its eye and comes towards you, Gregor, at first. This is at disadvantage because of your dodge.
Yeah.
Natural 20 was my first, and a modified 20 as my second attack for the first attack. So I'm assuming
20,
that hits.
20 gets there, yeah.
All right. And since you're still dodging, I'm going to do their second attack also. And that would have been a 24 to hit, but instead is definitely a miss. So you take total of 10 damage. Dieter is up next as tentacles start to whip out and flail and slam into you. You're holding up your arm to kind of block it off. The first one comes in. Gregor swooping in to block it, imposing disadvantage. A 19 to hit on disadvantage.
That misses.
All right. Second wave now. Or second attack. And that is also a miss then. And then the other one goes and 20 to hit. And then
That's
a miss.
because of faith. Yeah.
Nice. You're able to hold off the attack as these 4 barbarians now upon you. Kogrim, you step forth and see these howling poor remnants of your tribe. And as you look, you see the female one. It's very vague, but it resembles the exact person that Nephron was imposing. It resembles Sophia, and you never really necessarily got to meet her. But the stories that she told you, they lined up enough to know that she was a real person. You have this horn that was given to you by Gregor. What do you do?
So he like feels the horn thrust into his hands, and he just like surveys this horrific image, bringing back it's like terror, and like his grip tightens to white knuckles around his axe, and like he almost takes a step back, but he remembers something that his chief once told him when he was going through his trials, that everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. Peace, relaxation, family. And he takes a step forward and he blows the horn. It just echoes through the cavern, this like shattering noise. And I don't know what it does, but I did it.
All right, Corey. Fill us in here. You're on mute.
All right. I rolled like shit, so it's not that great. But all around you, 6 Kelroth barbarians appear, clad in their tribal attire.
Nice.
So what it does is summons 6 berserker barbarians.
Gotcha.
In this instance,
All right.
they each have 67 HP and armor class of 13.
I'm 13. Let me just pull. Are they just a normal berserker then? I can just pull in the stat block. And,
Yeah.
All right. That,
And
And they have reckless attack with their great axe.
okay.
nice.
So I'm going to. Do they roll their own separate initiative or just act on your initiative?
I think that they.
Let's just say that they act after your initiative.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And what I'll do is I'll give
Easiest.
just to speed it up, I'll give 3 to Gregor to just basically swing on his turn, and 3 to Kogrim to swing on his turn. So it's basically just like extra attacks and meat shields, if that's fair. Sound good?
Cool.
I have the stat blocks up, so
And like as he blows the horn and these guys just like materialize around him, he just like stretches his glowing axe out in front of him and he shouts, "Vengeance!" And they like rise in a chorus and they charge in. And he's gonna go into a rage. Run after where the Arcanoloth went.
All right. Now, do you know if they get to act instantly, Corey?
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead.
Yeah, they do.
Kogrim, and give me 3 just attacks at advantage, and your modifier is +5.
Alrighty. So first one is 16.
And this is going to be at the barbarians, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Their AC is 15.
Okay, so the first one hits.
Yep.
Second one is a crit.
Nice.
Third one is a crit.
Damn it.
Yeah.
So
they
good.
the actions, so I guess the horn is an action.
All right. So what we got for damage here? I guess I should tell you. D12 +3.
Oh, okay. So first one is 9. Second one is a crit, so let's see here. 8 plus 8, 16 plus 19 for the second one.
Okay.
The third one is 20 plus 10, 20, 25.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah, you're able to chop down one of these barbarians entirely. Who do you want to be, Sophia, or just a random one?
I think it'd be Sophia.
All right, she is taken down then. As the horn just blows and just warriors from your past, almost like ghosts at first, materialize and let out this battle cry with you. Once again, you feel the support and power of your brethren, your clansmate, your tribesmen, and you just charge forth into battle in a glorious rage. And with the support of them, are easily able to overcome Sophia and take her down and bring her to the afterlife where she belongs. Gwent Markov, you are up next.
All right. Wow. Gwent kind of looks around the room, searching for where this dark entity went. And he kind of just sighs, and a faint smile appears on the side of his lips. Just a little sighs, and then goes into a stance and just lays into these barbarians.
Nice.
He's going to transfer his hunter's mark to the first one he's attacking.
Okay.
And yeah, we're going to go Great Weapon Master on these attacks.
All right, 15's your mark on these bad boys.
That's 2 misses. Fantastic.
Nicely done. I need some help here.
That's it.
All right. With 2 misses then, as you charge into like this now almost like warlike scenario where there's just barbarians fighting other barbarians, and Kogrim is just letting out this just powerful battle cry. You come in and you're just swiping, and as there's just like the clanging of great axes and the black tentacles kind of whipping around fighting, you're not able to find your mark. In the back of your mind, you wonder where this Arcanoloth is, Nephron, the one that apparently drags you here, has something to do with your sister. You wonder where he is and can't focus. Dieter, you're up next. Battle has ensued.
Yes. All right. And Dieter is still like surrounded by these barbarians, right?
Yes. One was chopped down, and now you're surrounded by a bunch of brobarians, as Corey like to call them, but there's still 3 left.
All right. So first of all, Dieter is going to take a moment and sort of calm himself, even with the clang of weapons around him, and he's going to renew Shield of Faith. So that's back up, and that's a bonus. And then, still clutching his holy symbol, he looks out and he remembers seeing that small dark figure that you mentioned earlier, He sort of bares his teeth and just says, "For my daughter!" And then those 4 sort of glowing golden orange meteorites start to come out from his body, surrounded by silver energy as he casts Spirit Guardians.
Nice.
I'm going to need wisdom saving throws from the barbarians that are near me within 15 feet? 15 feet. Yep.
So these are actually Craig barbarians. Just kidding.
Oh, of course they are.
Crag barbarians.
Damn it, Chris.
What is your save?
That was the moment that Peter knew he fucked up.
16?
15.
15. All right. Fail, 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 and pass.
Nice.
Wait,
Okay.
that's 4. So I lied. All 3 failed.
Nice. All right. So they take 21 points of radiant damage as these meteorites just sort of smash into them and then start rotating and orbiting around Dieter as he just stands there, his eyes sort of glowing orange, his robes sort of pushed back by this invisible wind. He's full of the fury of Lathander, and he's actually going to move forward his full 30 feet if he can.
Yep. You're moving forward towards the icy glacier?
Yeah, actually maybe more like 15 feet, so he's still within range of the barbarians.
No, sorry. Does that stop them from opportunity attacking, you said?
Oh, shit, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, you'd be getting a whopping if you did that. I guess only 3 of them, or 2 would hit you.
Never mind. I'm going to stay where I'm at.
All right. Perfect. Back to the top of the initiative. You hear a laughter of Nephron. You don't know where it's coming from. It echoes around the room. He mutters to himself that the promise will be kept. I promise, Master. Gwent, you're pulled back to Abigail, saying those exact words. There's this vision afterwards, after the fact, where Abigail made her deal that fill you now. And what you see is an older version of Abigail, probably around what she would look like now. And she stands there, and she's barely recognizable. She's screaming in pain, in horror. She is begging you. But worst of all, she's looking, by definition, just purely evil, purely tortured by darkness. You hear her whisper again. You can stop this, Gwent. You can save Abigail from this fate. Look at her. Look at her suffering. Promise me, Gwent, and I will give you the power to stop this. You look at your poor sister. You're helpless in a child state. You know that what this thing is showing you, you don't know how you know, but you know it is real. You know that this will happen to Abigail. What do you do? You're muted.
Gwent is sort of standing there trying to hit these barbarians, but he's in the middle of the fray and his arms just fall to his side in exhaustion. And he takes a few steps forward, stumbling into the room. Everything around him, if he takes attacks of opportunity, he doesn't even notice as they slash across his back. He stumbles forward in the room and kneels down. Across from, you said that there was a huge liquid that splattered into the floor and hardened.
Yes.
And he just kind of falls to his knees, both knees on the ground, arms at his side, and he just kind of goes, "Dear, forgive me." And he lets go of his sword, puts both hands on the stone, and says, "I promise, Master! Let her go!"
A washing feeling overcomes you You're still in this childlike dream. You now stand in an emptied room, though, cold. You look at your sister. She's holding you. You both are not sure how you got here. Suddenly, Rhiannon and Madame Ava stand beside you. They're asking how you got here. Why? How? Are you okay? You both only remember being chased by wolves and falling. Madame Ava whispers to your mother that the wards have been placed, and this place shall be forgotten in time, and that is best. Let's go. And that day was never spoken of again. We see a montage as the two Markov children age and take us to a fateful night around the age of 10, maybe a little older, where Rhea comes bursting through the tent in the middle of the night. She looks at you frantically. My children, we must get out of here at once. There's an evil man who is coming. He's going to do terrible things. He's going to kill you. He's going to hurt you all. Come with me. I will protect you. Gwent, you relive the night that Rahadin came and slaughtered the Dusk Elves. Mordant, your father, and Rhea are both together in a ritual, readying to teleport you and your sister away. The incantation begins as runes start to glow, and you feel the light surround you and your sister. A weight has begun to be lifted as you start to part through time and space itself. But a voice whispers, it's your sister's voice. They will all die. He is here. I will stop this. She pulls her hand away from you. You start to hear a voice in your own head tell you of a secret, a promise made. A promise that you made long ago that will give you the strength to stop this. And you replay the scene, only not from your own perspective, but from the perspective that sees each and every horrible murder of your family and your entire bloodline. But before the voice can fulfill the bond, the incantation is completed and you're teleported. Suddenly, a bond has been broken. You feel alone in the middle of an unfamiliar forest. And for that time, a secret remained forgotten until this very moment. You're now laying forth. You look around and you can't believe the words that just came out of your mouth. It was a memory, but you know that at this very moment, you spoke those words out loud in this current situation. You abandoned here. And you look up and you see Nephron standing on top of this 50-foot tower, and he's howling out in laughter. You cannot make the deal now. It is too late. And a crackle of lightning shoots from his hand into the crowd behind you at your comrades. Give me a dexterity saving throw, Gregor.
I got a natural 1. I could use inspiration, but I'm going to let it ride instead.
All right. Oh, God. Did Alex drop? All right. So you're not going to reroll?
No, I'm going to take it.
All right. I like that. That's a spicy meatball. Give me a second here. The lightning arcs from his finger, slamming into you and doing... God damn it. Scroll. I'm almost there, I swear.
1 million damage.
10 million damage. You take a total of, with failing, 47 lightning damage.
Okay. All right.
The lightning completely engulfs you and then arcs out towards Kogrim. Give me a dexterity saving throw, Kogrim.
Woo! Advantage from danger sense.
Nice.
What's my dex? I don't think Gwen's near me, right?
No, he's not.
Womp womp. 14.
14 is not a fail. You take 37 damage. Another bolt of lightning arcs out. Dieter, give me a dexterity saving throw.
That's not bad, but you know what? I'm gonna use my last point of luck, because why not? Anything better. It was literally the exact same thing. So that's going to be a 13, 15.
15 is not enough to make the save. 49 lightning damage.
So Dieter is knocked unconscious immediately.
Finally, one of the barbarians that were brought forth by the horn of Valhalla makes a dexterity saving throw.
Oh my god.
He does not make it and is terribly injured for 47 damage.
Okay.
That ends Nephron's turn as he is just howling in laughter. Gregor, you now stand and see that this Arcanoloth has somehow made his way up top of this faceless statue that stands 50 feet tall, and his hands are just like shooting off bolts of lightning which are arcing everywhere, and he's just
Oh shit. So he's like visible, like 50 feet up in the air.
Yeah. And you also notably see Dieter drop to the ground unconscious.
All right. Fuck. In that case, he's gonna yell at the tribesmen to quick, take cover, and kind of get everyone to kind of like, I don't know, I guess some kind of cover from him.
There's 4 columns in this room, so technically you could hide behind one of the 4 columns, although you don't know how this spell necessarily works, but it's not enough to get all 4 of you behind it, or all 6 of you.
Gotcha.
There is. Can provide
Does this statue look like something we could knock down?
It is like a 50-foot tall, 20-foot wide statue of pure black marble. Maybe if you have an atomic bomb or something.
I have 6 barbarians.
Yeah. 6 brobarians, actually, which is actually strong against marble.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's go for this. Why not? So I tell my pack here to run in, and we're gonna try and fucking chop it down.
All right, 4 of you.
Let them try first.
All right, go ahead and do your 3 attacks, all of them at advantage. So that's a total of a bunch of rolls.
Yeah,
Plus
so
5.
23.
Yep. AC on the statue.
This one was good. 12. So 2 hits.
Okay. Do your damage.
For 11 plus, nice, 16. So 25 damage from them. Does it look like it's going down?
You take out like the tiniest of chunks from it as they're all just slamming into it.
Fuck.
You heard it.
All right, never mind. It's not going to work. And then I'm going to use my action to yell at Dieter, get the fuck up and do something. I guess that's actually my bonus action. I'm going to use Healing Word.
Okay.
To give him the young.
Beautiful.
9 hit points. Then I'm going to dodge.
All right. Cool. That leaves the barbarians up next, who, with Dieter down, are going to switch their attention to Kogrim. I guess they potentially would maybe see him getting back up, but I will let that be Kogrim's problem instead. And 1 pack is going to chase after you, Gwent. Or one single barbarian, sorry. So here you go, Kogrim. Good luck, good sir. First attack coming through. They're swinging recklessly. 24 to hit as the highest on the first attack, and second attack highest is a 19 to hit.
That misses.
All right, 1 attack gets through. He rolled minimum damage 4.
Ah, my heart.
Next up, if you're still standing, we got 17, which I know is a miss, is the highest, and second attack is a 18, which I believe is also a miss. Next up on Mr. Gwent, the 2 barbarians swarm in on Kogrim as Dieter slowly starts to pick himself off the ground. Gwent, you're kind of praying to you're doing whatever you're doing. You don't really even know in this exact moment. And one comes behind you and scores a critical strike. And hits you for 12 damage as a crit. That puts Kogrim and his Brobarians up next. 3 Brobarians.
All right. I'll have the 3 team up against one of the guys on.
You got 2 on you, 1 on Gwent, which is kind of across the room.
I'll have 2 of them team up on one of the guys on me.
Okay, go ahead and do those 3 attacks all at advantage.
Whichever one's most injured.
They're all about the exact same, actually.
Okay.
From the Spirit Guardian.
All right, they're attacking with whatever it's called. The thing. 17. And the other one.
Yep. 15 to mark.
Is 24. First one, 13.
Okay.
Second one, 9.
You're able to chop down another, or your brothers in arms are able to chop down another barbarian, flanking them, and one shot to the head, and the other comes on the spine and just basically cuts it in half in 2 different sections.
Nice. I'll try to cut down the other one myself.
All right, go for it.
19 and what was this? 28.
Both hits.
All right, 9, 21.
21 total?
Yep.
Okay, that does not finish that guy off.
For one attack, sorry.
Oh.
12, 24.
Another 24 on top of that?
Yep.
Whew, that does finish it off. Describe what it looks like.
Yeah, so he, like, the other 2 barbarians finish off the one guy, and then he just, like, takes his shield and just bashes him in the in his tentacle face, knocks him over, and just finishes him off with his glowing axe. It's just like the smell of burning flesh in the air. And he'll turn around and he'll cast Hex on the Arcanoloth.
Okay.
And I'm gonna Hex his strength saves.
Is he gonna save on that?
He doesn't.
Nice. I like it. All right.
Saves checks.
Okay.
Use my movement and go towards him.
Okay. Gwent. Or if you use your movement, you're gonna take an opportunity attack. By the one that's. Oh no, he chopped him down. What am I talking about? All right, you're good to move. Yep. Gwent. You look up, feeling the sting of the great axe in your back. That these memories just flooding you for some reason. Confused now more than you've ever been. What do you do?
He kind of stands from his kneeling position, blade still in his back, and says, "Dear, for too many years you have clouded my vision, feeding me false illusions of vengeance. Vengeance! I got my vengeance against the Dusk Elf who killed my mother. I threw him off a rooftop. I got my vengeance against Strahd, and my sister died in doing it. This vengeance, it is empty. What I need is power. Power to stop these bad things from happening before vengeance is required."
And before you go, one final vision. A whisper in the darkness. You made a promise, Gwent, to never speak of that day, and you've kept it. You've been gone long, but the secret has been kept. And it kind of echoes as it talks. I have another for you. Your sister's soul is trapped. It has become tormented over the years, like I showed you. But now, you have died, Gwent. And you feel the weight of snow pushing down on your rib cages and cracking your ribs. You feel the burning sensation of the fireball that Kogrim threw at you and then just engulfed you in flame and then smashed down. You were trying to dig through the snow, but you couldn't. The rib cages give way, crushing, and you take your last gasp of snow. Now no one can save her, Gwent. That is, unless you can make one more promise. Promise to never speak of this day, and I shall bring you back and give you the strength to release your sister from her torment. And like you did so long ago, Gwent, what happens?
I kind of shook my head, not really understanding where I was in this domain between life and death. But I had taken an oath that night in when my sister first appeared to me in a vision after her death, that I would do anything it took to free her, to set her soul free. And at that moment, it was my time to come clean on that promise. And remembering that I had sworn to do so, I didn't inhale because I was dead, but basically just thought with all my might inside my own head, yes, I promise. Give me the power to release her. Bring me back.
You feel that black feeling, that tentacle that ripped around your arms, and in that sequence that you experienced being pulled down, you instead feel the sensation of light, bright, burning yellow light. You take in a big breath of air, and you see before you Kogrim has pulled you out of the avalanche. They look at you shocked, but none is more shocked than you. For only moments ago you were dead. But now here you stand alive, with a promise to be kept. Do you do on your turn now?
Well, on my turn, I start by renouncing Tyr and her empty vengeance that she filled me with to do her bidding my entire life. It was all lies just so that she could control me. And I become an anti-paladin, an oath breaker.
Oh, damn.
And with that, I am going to use my channel divinity, not to vow of enmity, but to control undead. And I am going to turn my head backwards towards this undead barbarian that just planted its axe in my back and just say, with me, we are the Yellow King's champion now. And he just stares upwards, straight at Nephiron.
Yes.
Just straight at Nephiron. There is no room for both. And he's going to charge forward with his sword. So control undead.
Oh, no, did he drop? Are you there?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, perfect.
So DC 15.
This is on the barbarian?
On the barbarian. And if it fails, it has to obey my commands for 24 hours.
I'm not even going to make the save. That shit's so cool that it automatically fails.
All right. Well, I don't have any of my previous spells anymore, so haste is out and all that shit's out, but whatever, screw it. I'm running up to this thing. It's hunter's marked, and I'm going for it full throttle.
All right. Now it is high up top of the statue, but you see that the stairs that wrap around up to a balcony that is snow covered. You could technically walk up these stairs and make a pretty precarious jump and be up within range of it, but it is quite dangerous and hard to do unless you have other means of travel.
Oh, well, I'll go ahead and Misty Step.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, you walk up the stairs, and then you Misty Step to do the remaining distance, and he's just sitting there laughing, and Borderline doesn't hear you, but then as you say that you are the champions of the King in Yellow now, he stops, and he looks on the ground, and then a poof of smoke is gone, and he's looking around, and then he feels your presence first, turns around and meets you. Happens next.
Well, let's see, my channel...
Is that an action? Yeah, that might be an
thing
action.
was an action, and then my move and my bonus were to get up there. So what happens is we're both on top of this huge statue, just staring each other down.
Dieter. Yeah.
You guys are up.
Dieter, You're up next, as Gwent now stands on top of the statue with the Arcanoloth Nephron.
All right, so Dieter, after being healed by Gregor, sort of like woozily comes to, thinking about Gabriella, and he sees the battle still going on. And to start, he is going to just start muttering under his breath, I stand with the Morning Lord stands with me. I stand with the Morning Lord stands with me, just over and over again. And that's going to be a mass healing word at level 4.
Nice.
It is a 60-foot range. Can I get Gregor, Kogrum? Is Gwent too far away for me to get hit by that? Or
let's see here. Doing a quick. Yeah, I would say that he's just 60 feet radius from you.
Yeah, correct.
Then yeah, just barely. Yeah, because he's
Okay.
only. Yep, he's good.
All right, then I'll give it to all of them plus myself plus 2 of the Brobarians if I can heal them if they need to be healed.
Yeah, go ahead. They all got struck, or one of them got struck by.
Yeah, one did.
All right, it's gonna be kind of shit though. So let's see, 2 plus, so it's 7, so it's 13. Yep, 13 points of healing to everybody because it's just healing word. And then for his action, Dieter's going to use half of his movement to get up. And he's going to freaking cast Death Ward on himself because he keeps forgetting to do that.
Hey.
So he just he touches his wooden holy symbol of Lathander, and he's going to just cast Death Ward on himself. So he's now surrounded by this golden orange energy.
Cool. Like it. Through the chaos and the explosions of arcane and melee combat, suddenly a healing surge is felt around the entire room. Radiant light erupts from Dieter and just seals off many wounds that you've sustained. But through that all, a single drip is heard. The glowing glacial bulge at the bottom of this statue has fully melted through the chaos of this fight. A small figure kneels there and shivers. A tiny voice is heard. Daddy. But Gwent, you hear something different altogether. You hear brother. And it is the voice of Abigail. You look down, and standing there over top of this little girl is your sister. She begins to actually levitate the girl itself 50 feet into the air and now stands level with you, Nephron in between you both. What does Abigail say to Gwent? Jason, who has once played Abigail before.
All right. So as Abigail floats up with Gabriella sort of in tow, he looks at you, Gwent, and she sort of tilts her head to the side, or she tilts Gabriella's head to the side, and she says, "You never were very good at listening, were you?" And she smiles a little bit, but it's weird. Her face is twitching, spasming ever so slightly.
He kind of cocks an eyebrow and answers, I think you mean thank you for saving my soul, dearest brother. And he grins at her.
She chuckles a little at that, and then sort of like convulses almost, and then sort of holds like her arms around herself and just says, Gwent, I need you to move on. I told you not to come here. This place, and she looks around at the temple, this place amplified my magic, allowed me to reach out to you through dreams, but I need you to move on. What you have done, you do not swear fealty to someone like the King in Yellow and just walk away from it. That was a mistake. That was a stupid, stupid thing, Gwent. And you see that she's shuddering more violently now, and her eyes are flickering between dark blue and yellow. as she sort of reaches out to you and she says, Gwent, I need you to free me. I need you to release me from this flesh that the Vistani put me in. I was fine dying beneath Castle Ravenloft. Free me. As a spirit, I can escape from the King in Yellow's clutches, but clothed in flesh and bone, I cannot. Please. End this. You do not spit in the face of a great old one, Gwent.
But I made a deal. I don't understand. You should be free now. Fly away. I swore to keep his secrets. It is my burden now, he says, brow furrowed.
And as you watch, it's almost like part of this spectral face almost flakes off, revealing this like long, sinewy yellow tentacle that reaches out to you, Gwent. And Abby's voice starts to change. She says, there's always another aspect to his deals, Gwent. Kill this child. I know it goes against everything you have been taught, everything you learned in your church. Kill her. Free me so I can escape. This is what you have to do. And then you watch as her form sort of like convulses and bulges as more of these tentacles start to push out of her body. These yellow, just dripping tentacles with these nasty black suckers. She's barely holding on.
Gwent kind of shakes his head a little bit, confused, but sister, you cannot be serious.
As you say that, Gwent, two of the tentacles latch onto your shoulder, and she sort of like moves towards you like blindingly fast, and you just hear her say, "It was me, Gwent. It was me. I was the one that told Strahd and Rahadin where to find Mother in the woods. It was I that broke Father's ward that was keeping us hidden from them. I betrayed Mother. Now kill me." And you see more of this like yellow slime and tentacles starting to just, she's barely even vaguely human looking, more of this horrifying thing. She's like, "Please, Gwent, kill me. Move on. I betrayed Mother. She became a monster because of me." And the tentacles are starting to wrap around you, Gwent, as this child's body is just sort of flailing around like a rag doll.
Gwent's eyes go wide for a second, and he says,
You muted yourself.
"Revenge. It is no longer my way. I forgive you for what you have done, and I will not see you suffer. I made an oath. No matter what the cost, I would free your soul. Go now." And he kind of looks down at the undead that he's under his control, and says, "You heard her," and says, "No." Oh, okay. Here's what he's gonna do. He has, as a level 1 warlock, he has this thing that lets him speak into other creatures' minds without opening his mouth.
Nice.
And so he is going to use that and use it on the undead and say, "You heard her. Kill the girl." In the head of the undead warrior. And he's going to focus on Neferion.
Absolutely. Now,
Neferon or whatever his
Neferon is now up as all this is going on. You all see the ragdoll body of poor Gabriella being flung across the room. You don't necessarily hear the conversation that Gwent is going on. You just hear Gwent yelling at this poor ragdoll girl. And then Neferon says, "Who are you talking to? The king does not speak to you? Do not lie. He only speaks to me. I am the promised one." And with that, he'll swipe at you. And he is going to roll a panicked 24 to hit. All right, let's do some damage here. And rakes across you for... Where the hell's this damage? Give me a Constitution saving throw also.
Mm-hmm. 12. I don't have my +3 anymore because I'm...
All right, that's a fail then. You take a total of 17 damage. Next up, as the battle between Nephron and Gwent go down, are Gregor and his 3 barbarians that are chopping down the 50-foot statue, which now, in the grand scheme of things, kind of seems like it might not be the greatest of plans.
Wait, so there's just this like little shadow girl flying around the room?
Yeah. And
Okay.
Gwent is like yelling at it and talking to it like it's Abigail. You probably would have heard him say like Abigail and call him that and like have that conversation that he had, only the girl wasn't talking back.
Just wait right before your turn. When he hits me, I'm going to hellish rebuke him.
Nice.
And I'm going to say, as yellow flames engulf him and burn him, see who the king in yellow favors. Feel his wrath upon you.
Sick.
And
not 1 on whatever I was supposed to roll.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and roll. It's going to take some damage. 14 damage.
14 damage. All right, Colgrim. A hellish yellow fire imbues around the Arcanoloth as you and your buds are sitting down 50 feet below.
All right. So is the girl in range to hit, or is she like up in the air?
She's up in the air 50 feet.
50?
Yeah.
Fucking shit. All right. Is the Arcanoloth considered a humanoid?
Nay, he is not.
Fucking shit. All right. In that case, I'm gonna be like, all right, fuck this shit. We're going after him. Make some room up there. And all of me and my 3 barbarians are gonna move and dash up the stairs and jump onto this fucking thing with all of them.
All right, that's going to be a bit of a clusterfuck, but an acrobatics check from you guys can potentially make that happen. Perfect. The barbarians have a +1 to Dex.
Alrighty, let's go.
But they are barbarians, and they are raging. So do they get advantage normally on Dex if they're raging? I'll say sure. Roll an advantage for them.
Okay. I won't fight you. All right, one of them gets a 16.
Good.
One of them gets a 20.
Good.
And the last one gets a 7. Rip.
Not so good.
That's not so good.
And you?
I'm going to use that point of inspiration I saved.
Yep.
12?
Barely. You jump and you grab and like you're gonna make it, but then one of the barbarians kind of gets in the way and you bounce off and you just fuck, and then you grab on and now you're like hanging on to one of the arms, dangling about 30 feet up in the air. That's where you end your turn. As the other 2 have made it on.
I'm gonna action surge.
Okay.
And reach out to touch this Arcanoloth. And as my index finger reaches him, I whisper a fuck you into the wind as I cast Bestow Curse.
Okay.
So he makes a wisdom save.
All right. He has a very similar resistance that the what's it called had, but what's your save? It might have failed.
It's a 17.
It does fail.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick.
Its strength is already
while cursed. Yeah, while cursed, I'm gonna make a wisdom saving throw at the start of each of his turns, and if he fails, it wastes its action doing nothing.
Sweet. All right, that ends the other ones. Now, Barbarian that is controlled by Gwent, now under his command, is going to, with its tentacle eyes, whip forth, and it grapples the ragdoll body of Gabriella and kind of pulls her arm so that she's standing there like crucified momentarily in front of you. And it just waits helpless, the poor girl. Next up is Kogrim.
So, how far away is this barbarian from me?
The controlled barbarian? 30 feet or less.
I mean, he's not in on the plan.
Yeah, for all you know, you don't really understand what's going on. You see it attacking the girl.
What am I supposed to do? I'm the good guy. So I see this undead attacking the girl. I'm gonna go right for him. Gonna attack it twice.
I give it.
Actually, I'm gonna move the hex from the Arcana off. No, I'm gonna keep it on him. He's probably gonna fall off. I'm gonna attack him twice. With advantage, I'm gonna attack reckless attack. 23.
Hit.
And a crit.
Ooh. Good.
Ah, fuck. The first one wasn't good. 14.
Okay.
Second one. Plus. Didn't roll well. 19 for the second
19.
one.
That's the crit.
Yep.
Okay. It still stands, although badly injured, but it still stands.
All right.
Anything else?
I don't think there's anything else I can do.
But you still got those 3 other barbarians.
Yeah, you got your Brobarians, actually.
That's true. I'll have another one of them attack him.
Okay.
See how he does. 22.
Yep.
Does 9.
9. Brink of death. One more hit will definitely kill it.
All right. Barbarian number 2. So he crits.
Nice. So yeah, just describe it then, because he has 2 HP left.
All right. So I think he'd see it like going for the little girl, and he'd like go up and like chop it and like chop off one of its legs, and it like falls and looses its grip and slides down these stairs, and the other 2 just like chop at it to finish it off.
Absolutely. Gwent, the controlled barbarian that you had is chopped down by Kogrim, but still you see the manifestation of Abigail in front of you, and her very human existence is being ripped away into something horribly indescribable, and you can see the pain and torment on her face as she tells you what she did. She betrayed your mother, but she begs you to end this. End it before he comes. He's coming for me. Nephron stands in front of you. The girl just behind him, kind of floating there. You look down as everything's kind of playing out in slow motion, and you see Gregor and 2 barbarians climbing up the statue. Gregor reaching out and bestowing a curse upon Nephron. What do you do as this moment plays out? Abigail just begging. Brother, release me.
He kind of shakes his head a little bit and says, We had a deal. The terms were not unclear. They were set in stone. I promise to never speak of what happened today, and you free my sister. Those were the terms. They were spoken clearly.
He whispers, I only promised to give you the power to do so.
Can Abby say something real quick?
Yes, this is like a last thing that she can say before she's
Right.
overtaken.
So by this point, she's more like horrifying tentacle monster than human, and she looks at you, Gwent, with these like yellow eyes that are weeping this like thick neon yellow pus. I mean, it's disgusting. She just says, Gwent, he promised me to. He promised me while the Vistani were torturing me, and her body sort of like shudders. He promised that he would give me the power to free myself. And he did, but not until I gave up Mother, my soul, and watched Rahadin torture her. There's always a trap to the deal. And then she just like explodes into this awful like tentacled humanoid thing that's just pure madness and horror.
Only the briefest
and that's it.
remnants of Abigail's soul clings to this thing. Whatever she is being transformed to needs to be decided at this very moment how you're acting, or her soul. You don't know what will happen.
He screams outward and just screams, "You sly, filthy piece of shit! How do I know that there's not another 10 levels of deception behind your lies? Screw you!" And he's going to just rush straight at Nephron, or whatever his name is. And he's going to try to push him off the statue with himself. He's going straight at Nephron.
Contest.
I believe you might have disadvantage on this.
Yes, disadvantage.
And I'm also going to use cutting words.
Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Cutting words, go ahead and roll it.
-4.
You got to beat a grand total of 4.
All right. Well, I am also rolling a disadvantage because I am exhausted.
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
But I have a +9. So that's an 18.
You charge into Nephron, tackling him, and fall 50 feet below into the hard marble.
Except for I am casting Featherfall on myself.
Very nice. Let me look at Nephron, actually. What kind of spells does he have? Interesting. He doesn't have any reactionary things, so he's fucked. Okay. Then Nephron takes that amount of damage, and you completely avoid it. You hear him hit the ground with a bone-crunching crack of his spine as he howls out in pain. Master, give me the strength that was promised. Is that it for your turn?
Well, I guess that was my action.
Yeah.
So I have a bonus and a move. For my bonus, I'm going to transfer my Hunter's Mark to whatever that thing is that I might be my sister or the tentacle mass or whatever. That's it.
Interesting.
That allows me to keep tabs on it and like track it for an hour. It can't escape my perception.
Dieter, you're up next.
So Dieter sees the body of his daughter being flung around through the air. Maybe he sees a little bit of like a shadowy apparition behind it, but he doesn't see what Gwent sees. and he just completely freaks out. He grabs his holy symbol, kind of rips it off. It's on a rope necklace, and he just holds it out and just screams out, "Lathander, protect my daughter!" And he's going to cast a 5th level guiding bolt at Nephiron, actually. So let's see how that goes.
Oh, damn.
16?
On Nephron is not a hit. 17.
Balls. Really? All right, so this giant guiding bolt just slams into the wall next to him, explodes.
Or he's prone, though, because if he fell in that distance,
helps,
so it's
right?
out.
No,
Yeah.
if he's prone, it would help him because he'd have disadvantage on the attack roll.
Well, balls. All right.
So it doesn't work. It doesn't help.
All right. What I will do instead, or I'll do as a bonus action, is Dieter's going to summon up his spiritual weapon. Next to Nephiron, is he within 60 feet of me?
You still have your spiritual guardian going on too, don't you? Or does that cancel out?
I died, or I went unconscious, so that goes
Okay,
away.
yeah. Right. All right. So yeah, that's still with you.
All
Or
right.
spiritual weapon. No, that would have been gone by now. How long does it last?
Right. No, I was going to say I'll have to recast it as a bonus action. Can I do that?
Yeah, bonus action. Yeah, I don't think you've used your bonus action.
All right. So his flaming sword next to Nephiron, and he is going to. Let me see. Hang on a second.
17's your mark.
Yep. It probably means I'm going to miss. And actually, he's going to cast it at 3rd level. So the flaming sword is extra fiery. And he's going to attempt to hit this motherfucker.
All right.
Well, that definitely hits with a 23.
Go ahead and roll some damage.
The damage increased by 1d8 for every 3rd. Why is it not changing? That's weird. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I'll have to cast it at 4th to get any damage increase. So I'll go ahead and do that. Cast it at 4th level.
Okay.
And of course, crappy ass damage. That's going to be 7 points of force damage as the sword slices into Nephiron.
Nice. Not enough to bloody him, at least. Dieter's turn ends. Nephiron lies on the ground, screaming for his master to help him. The ragdoll version of Gabriella convulses. Convulses again. Her very insides seem to shake, vibrate, and then bursting out of her mouth is a black and yellow tentacle, and it grabs onto her underpit, and another tentacle rips itself out from her mouth and pulls onto the other one, and just suddenly this horrible creature starts to burst out with flaming yellow eyes. It looks at you, Gwent,
Is that Paul?
and it recognizes you. You recognize it just barely. And it points its finger at you. And I'm going to need you to give me a Constitution saving throw. You're really going to want to pass this one.
(16+7).
You pass. You take half as much damage as a negative energy imbues from one of this creature's tentacles and shoots out in a beam of dark yellow light and hits you for half of 66 necrotic damage.
Should have fucking killed that thing.
You still standing? Yeah. You're on mute, but I'm assuming yeah. So we will move on. Nephron picks himself up now. He's bleeding and broken, and he just is pleading now for his master. He kept the deal. He didn't say anything about this. And then he realizes he spoke it all to you, each and every one of you. the secret that he had to keep. His master has abandoned him. No, master, they were gonna die. It does not count. Help me. And he swipes at you, Gwent.
But first, he makes a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Nice. All right.
The DC 17.
Oh, he even has advantage on these, but I rolled a 3 and a 2.
Hey, yo.
He stands there. His master has completely abandoned him now. Turn completely void. But nonetheless, this horrible manifestation is exploding out of poor Gabriella as we speak. Gregor, you're now up.
All right, boys, let's kill the bastard and get the fuck in there. As he tells his barbarians group to just jump down onto Nephron and fuck him up.
All right. that's a 50-foot drop. And are they just like, I just picture it as like Legend
Like
of Zelda fucking sword drop.
Really big.
Just axes in there. Ah!
Give me a dexterity save for all of them and then a roll to hit.
Okay, so
2 actually, because 1 didn't make it at all.
yeah, for the 2 of them. So one dex save is an 18, the other dex save is a natural 1.
All right. Full damage if they didn't get over 15 is 20, half for the one that did. I'm tracking the damage for that, so don't worry about that.
All right, only one of them hits.
All right. How much damage are we talking?
All right, oh shit. Fuck, 6 damage. I forgot. There's also the one that's on the floor.
Yep, go ahead and attack.
He gets
He's prone.
a 13 to hit. I'm sure that's enough.
Yep. Or no, 17 on Nephron.
Yeah, so only that one hit for 6.
Okay.
And Gregor's gonna jump onto the stairs and run down because he can't take the hit.
Still an acrobatics check.
Oh, fuck me. All right. Crit. There we go.
Hey.
For
For once,
easily
Gregor
makes the
taps into
jump.
his prime and makes a magnificent jump.
And running down the stairs and use my action to use Cure Wounds on myself.
Nice. Next up
That's
is
it.
Kogrim and the Barbarians. A total shitstorm has exploded in front of you.
Yep. He's like, once the tentacle monster showed up, he's just like, at that point, Kogrim knew he fucked up. And he'll have the barbarians fight that thing while he goes after the Arcanoloth.
All right.
So this is for them. They're attacking recklessly. 15.
Yep.
And then 23.
Yes.
Those 2 guys are back. 7. 9.
Okay.
So they like they dogpile on him, and I'll dogpile on the Arcanoloth. That's
All right. Give it a swing.
19 and 17.
Both hits.
All right. So I got my Blood Right, got my Hex, got my Radiant. So let's see what I get. 6, 7, 11, 23 on the first one.
Okay. Yikes. You might be able to do it.
10, 16. Oh, that's a good one. 28.
Woo! Nephron is on the ground, unable to move. He's begging for his master to not abandon him. Galgroth, Kogrim, you stand in front of him, weapon ready. He looks at you with a panic in his eyes. This isn't what he told me. This isn't how this is supposed to end. What do you do?
Shouldn't have tricked me. He finishes him just with with a chop, like chopping wood, like at the very beginning, just like flashback, just chops into him.
Head rolls off, now separated from his body. A pool of blood. Nephron has been defeated. Gwent. Assuming you're done, Gogrim, sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna see what happens to the barbarians when they go after the horrific abomination that I don't know what it's gonna do. So
All right.
I'm just gonna watch.
Gwent. A horrible creature stands in front of you, tentacles spewing from everywhere. It shot a beam of necrotic energy that almost probably ended your life. You feel it as it hits you, bringing you back to that moment of death, that moment where you made the promise. You hear the voice whisper, "Do it, Gwent. Keep the promise." As you look at this awful, horrendous figure, you see that the amber stone that was glowing and dripping now has this tendril-like ichor that has breached the amber chunk itself and is connecting to this girl. Although calling her a girl now, she is basically pretty much overcome by these tentacles that are ripping out of her mouth. Do it, Gwent. Release her soul.
After the scene that just happened with Nephron, Gwent is having some serious second thoughts about any deals he would make with the king. After hearing him say, "This wasn't what you told me. This wasn't what was supposed to happen," he's like, he's not the smartest individual, but he's like, and he actually, in a sort of panic, kind of looks back over at Dieter with like a look on his face like, what do I do? What would Dieter, seeing this happen, what would Dieter's judgment call be?
Yeah, so Dieter's gaze is just riveted on these yellow tentacles that are wrapping around his daughter coming out of her mouth. And he sees Gwen's panicked expression, and it's strange because, you know, he's never been the most mature person in the world, but in that moment there is this sense of sort of grace and serenity as he looks at Gwen, and he just nods at him once, and then his eyes flick over to Gabriella, and he just waits.
And Gwent certainly doesn't trust his own judgment right now.
Give me an insight.
Oh, for Gwent?
One last chance here.
Oh.
Oh, it's not too bad, but I have disadvantage because I'm exhausted. And that is 13.
Take my inspiration.
Ooh.
Right,
is this like a
go.
contest? Like, is this his insight versus something else?
Yes.
I'm going to use cutting words.
What do you say to the emptiness present?
Ah! Fuck you!
Okay, roll again.
For a -1.
Roll again, Gwent.
I'm still at a 13. But I'm going to go ahead and use my own inspiration. Can I do that? Can we double up on inspiration?
You can only use inspiration once.
Okay, never mind. 13.
But due to the cutting words and my terrible roll, you see that you have a decision to make here. You can end whatever that horrible creature is, or you see the yellow tendrils coming from the stone itself.
Right.
Whatever is powering this horrible thing is coming from that. That looks very hard and hard to kill in one strike as all this is going down And you don't know how much longer you guys can last as the creature is charging up another one of those necrotic energies to send at you. What choice do you make?
I'm going to go straight for the sort of amber. It's like it was a liquid that sort of solidified into a crystal, right?
Yes. Or it was more a crystal that turned into liquid and was dripping on and melting, or basically encasing the girl. But now that whatever ritual has been complete, it is kind of back to solid state, but like has that ichor or tendril leaking out of it.
All right. I'm going to go straight for the sort of the crystal that has that solid state,
Yes.
and I'm going to try to break it. And
Good luck.
while I do that, I'm going to say, a crystal broken, just like your promise, fiend, and go for it.
Let's see what you rolled to hit.
Here we go. All right, I'll use the inspiration on this roll instead.
Makes sense.
3. Oh fuck! And that's a 5. That's a 15 actually, which is not
15
bad. For trying to hit
does hit a crystal. The crystal is extremely hard as you do so. So whatever might you might have left.
Well, I have 2 attacks, so I'm going to roll the second
All right.
one.
Ching! You chunk into it and it kind of sparks.
That's a 16.
Yep.
And as of right now, I have 2 level 3 spells left.
Okay.
And I'm going to dump both of those into this crystal as smites. I don't know if this counts, but I have a hunter's mark up on the creature. I don't know if this counts as part of it or not.
It counts.
All right, then this is going to be a shit ton of damage. Yeah. I also have, no longer I have the aura of protection that gave us bonus saves, but instead I have an aura of hate that applies my charisma modifier to my damage.
Nice.
It's 10, 13. Oh my god. 14, 15, 16. All right, that's 36 before the smites.
Okay.
And then with the smites, so level 3 is how many d8s? Let's see. So it's 2 d8s at level 1 plus 1 per level.
And then it maxes out at a certain number, but I don't think it's, yeah.
And then if it's a fiend or an undead, I think it takes an extra d8.
Okay, extra d8.
Oh, and I didn't roll Hunter's Mark.
You're just doing the
Nothing more for Hunter's Mark.
7, okay. It's gonna come down to it. Math.
22 damage on the first smite.
Okay.
$21 damage on the second smite.
All right. Is everything in?
Yeah. How much was that?
86 damage. Slam into it. What do you say as you do so?
I say, a stone broken just like your promise, fiend. And I just hack at the stone, trying to
slam into it with all of your hate that you now have been overcome with. A single spark or a massive spark exhumes from it. You look down and not a single dent on the stone. You, with all your might again, all your hate, everything that this entity has done to you, slam into it again. Sparks fill your face and the entire room, momentarily blocking it out with the light. You look, the stone remains untouched.
Fuck.
But then a crack. And then the crack splinters. and splinters again and splinters again and cracks, and then suddenly poof, smashes into a million tiny little pieces. Like a dust hurricane of sand, yellow ichor and tendrils spin around the entire room and slam up into the vaulted ceiling and start to just totally encompass the room in this yellow, sandy mist. A voice whispers to you, I do not forget broken promises. And then the mist is gone. The sand is gone. A girl falls from 50 feet in the sky. Who's making this check to save it?
Dieter's gonna run. Running.
Give me a dex.
No balls.
Does athletics work better?
Yeah, could I do athletics?
Sure.
Okay. It's not going to be much better. You ready?
Yep.
That's the thing is, I got to pimp athletics. I can make this.
The barbarians are near him too, if they can.
Yeah,
sit.
go ahead and do
Let him catch his daughter, guys.
advantage.
No, it's fine. Can I do it with advantage or something?
Yeah, you get help from everybody.
Great. Oh,
Moral
that's much
support.
better. That's 24 with 23 with athletics. No, wait.
You jump and dive and you catch Gabriella's body in your hand. She feels so light at this moment, lighter than you've ever felt. But you embrace her and you hug her and you hold her and then you listen and nothing.
She's dead.
Check her pulse and there is none.
So Dieter stops and then just very quietly he takes his holy symbol, which has been, he tore off, and he ties it around her neck and he presses his hand into her chest, and he's going to use his last 5th level spell slot, maybe, possibly, no, yes, sure, to cast Raise Dead.
You pray to Lathander.
Mm-hmm.
You hold her. You've never tried this before.
Oh.
And never has a moment been more important than this. You close your eyes. Moments pass. Nothing. You open your eyes and look at your friends. And then a withered, tired voice. Daddy. A breath. Gabriella has been saved.
And Dieter just hugs her, and he's just like crying and rocking back and forth. It's just it's messy and terrible, but he's just so happy. He's almost like laughing hysterically in a way.
Exhausted, you all kind of fall momentarily, catching your breath. You look around the broken and shattered room, the Amber Temple, the King in Yellow, the rebirth of Abigail has been stopped. It's a long walk down the mountain, but this time it feels that much easier, knowing that once again the breakers of the curse have stopped another rising of darkness. We fade from that scene as time itself seems to whip by. We now find ourselves in an enormous, bustling city. There's a merchant sitting cross-legged by a wagon, and he's working on something, stitching it. The man's clothes are tattered and faded, but you can tell that they were once vibrant. There's a small child wandering through the busy mercantile streets, and she's calling out for her parents, and she's frightened and crying. And as she walks by, this merchant looks up and says, "A hero, my child, should never show fear, even in the scariest of situations." The little girl explains that she's no hero, and the man replies that no one is born a hero. You simply rise above when those who are not strong enough can't. Have you ever heard of the story of the breakers of the curse? He asked. The little girl has not heard this story. He tells this girl, a beautiful long-winded story of a valley lost in darkness, an estranged brother and sister separated, a vulgar knight, and the last barbarian. They're fighting a dark ruler of a valley. The matters of horrors and challenges that they fought are unheard of, and the evil that they overcame is unprecedented. But these 4 people stood against darkness, and eventually they overcame the darkness and broke the curse, releasing the valley from the hex. The man explained all the heroics and all of its long-winded details, and the little girl, as she realizes she's been listening to this story for a while, notices that the sun is even starting to set now. The man must have told at least an hour story. She looks and she tells him that that's a beautiful story, and one day I will become like those people. I will become a hero, just like the breakers of the curse. And the man smiles and says, well, if you're going to do such honorable deeds, then you'll need to write down your stories so that they can be told like the breakers themselves. And he finishes the last stitch on a black journal with a yellow stitch flower and passes it to her. The girl hears the worried sounds of her parents calling, and she grabs the book and thanks the man one last time, running over to her parents and hugging them and telling them this incredible story of the breakers of the curse. The parents wonder what she's talking about. They've never heard of such a story. And where did she get this book from? This is so strange looking. She points back. The merchant over there in the wagon. The man is gone. The father looks at the book. He flips through the pages. Empty, empty, empty. Before coming to the very last page. And what he reads is some kind of notation from the creator of this journal. And on the very last page, a line is written that a curse is not something that is easily broken or cut off. To break a curse, you must truly destroy it, or the cycle will continue. And then written in the very bottom in this dark ink is the signature of Mordant Markov. The man looks to where the merchant is and says, Abigail, I don't know what you're talking about. I see no merchant. You must tell me so I can pay him. This is a very nice quality book. We need to give this man money. Did you steal it? And he says, no. He told me of the breakers, and he said that this very city was once that valley, a valley of Barovia, and now it's a bustling city because of these people. The man says, I don't know about that, and I don't know where you got these books from, but we'll discuss this through supper. And a raven caws, sitting on a merchant's wagon. Father looks at it and shoos it away. It gives an agitated caw once more and flies over this bustling city, through the mountains, past a ruined castle, long forgotten, high above into these dark, snowy mountains where a buried temple lays, and into the distance, into the yellow setting sun of the Valley of Barovia. And that's where we end the story. Good job, guys. You made it.
Nice.
And just to add on with that, Gwent himself sort of smiles, looking after the family. After all was said and done, he abandoned hopes of vengeance, hopes of pacts, and he found his father and learned how to make leather journals. He's an old man now. It's been centuries, but he still signs them with the mark of his father, hoping to pass on some good in this world after all.
Beautiful. Real quickly, everybody else do a monologue of what happened to their character. Gregor.
Yeah, and so Gregor goes back to his shack and just kind of lives out the rest of his days until he eventually passes, just kind of living in solitude, but feeling proud of himself that he was able to get one more adventure under his belt and be able to do one last kind act for the world.
Kogrim.
So at the center of this this town is this stone academy where broken souls, orphans, urchins, kids who have nowhere else to go are given an education. Yeah. Yeah, the Kogrim Academy of how to hit things good. No, it would be the Kelroth Academy. And in the center of the courtyard is a statue of Kogrim, like sitting on I guess like a chair, not like a fancy chair or anything like that. Like he's telling a story or something. And the inscription below the statue reads, "Don't look any further than your own reflection for a hero."
Very cool. Last but not least, Dieter.
So after everything that happened, Dieter goes back to Kresk with Gabriella, and Matilda, his wife, is overjoyed, and the family actually leaves Barovia shortly thereafter. They probably settle in a bigger city, Waterdeep or Neverwinter or Baldur's Gate, somewhere like that, just away from those memories. And it's strange because as Gabby grows older, she occasionally she talks about just this feeling like someone is keeping an eye on her, is protecting her when she thinks she might do something stupid or make a dangerous mistake. She gets this sense like there's like she has a guardian angel of sorts, and whether it's, you know, Abigail or something else, it kind of guides her. And Dieter actually takes some comfort in this. He occasionally sends letters to Gwent or Kogrim, and he definitely comes for Gregor's funeral. But he definitely has realized that although the Breakers of the Curse are these legends, he realizes that in the end, legends are still people, and some of them are broken and damaged beyond recognition. It's not the life for him, I think. So he just continues living the humble life of a cleric of the Morning Lord.
Absolutely. And they live out the rest of their days in relative peace, all becoming old, all eventually dying. And their story over the centuries fades into one of lore, one of something you tell your children before bed, and then something that is forgotten to most to be even told at all. Raven flies around the valley before landing near a dark cavern. A figure stands in front of a dark stone, its hand outreached and touched, and it whispers, "I promise to never speak of this day again until you come." And that is where we end it. Thanks for playing, guys. Great mini-series. Other than that, I got nothing else to say. So I don't know if anyone wants to say anything, but other than that, peace out if not. Peace.
Peace out. This is great.